time is it for you?
6:59.
My PlayStation says 6:59. My cell phone says 7:02. So who knows?
No.
I would think since they're both connected to the internet, they should both be like getting the time from like the nuclear clock kind of thing. I don't know. Like, you would think, right? I guess not. So that's no way it works.
Shame.
Yep. Just can't have consistency. Alright, I'm gonna mute myself and check everybody's voice. Everybody just talk about how white I am again or something. I don't
know. What?
We did that last time.
Oh, man.
Nah, that was a good one. We were like on a scale of 1 to 10, how white do you think Infamous is? And everyone was like, snow.
Snow.
It's pretty fun.
And you guys basically said he could populate a white Christmas all by himself.
Yep.
Just say he
It's
was
out in the sun
Caucasian.
and it looks like an explosion.
He's Caucasian.
know. Alright. That's enough. Hold on one. Welcome everyone to episode number 6 of the Gamer's Point of View podcast. This week's episode is on SJW and cancel culture. We've got the full cast here tonight. Sirius is with us. We've got Crimson and we've got Guts and myself. And we're going to be talking about that kind of stuff, SJW and cancel. What's that?
Let them plug.
You guys want to do that at the beginning or at the end? We've been doing it at the end. Your social plugs and stuff.
Yeah, I'll probably just do it at the end.
Okay.
Right. I was just reminding you because we forgot last time.
Yeah, don't let me forget. So I wanted to start off this episode by I want to read the definition of, we'll start off with SJW, and we'll talk about SJW, Social Justice Warriors, for anyone who doesn't know that. I'm going to read the Wikipedia definition and the Urban Dictionary definition, and then we can just talk about it. I have more to say on cancel culture, because after looking up the definitions of these two things myself, I think it's more the cancel culture that I have something to talk about, less the social justice warrior thing. So Wikipedia defines an SJW as it is a term for an individual who promotes socially progressive views, including feminism, civil rights, and multiculturalism. And when I read that, it sounds perfectly reasonable, and it sounds like there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. The Urban Dictionary's definition has quite a different take on it, the way I read it. A person that uses complex, serious social, economic, and political issues as a way to further their own agenda by claiming they are fighting to correct a wrong, but who are actually validating their own ego, looking for special treatment or attention, often causing more harm than good to their causes, as they are often ill-informed and uninterested in discussing issues, but are more interested in being right.
Oh, so politicians.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't want to hear the other side. They just have their opinion. They want to shout it from the rooftops. And anyone that has an opposing opinion, shut them down. Get rid of them. Get them out of here. And they usually have a different agenda than the one they're actually cheerleading or whatever, they're trying to promote. So, do you guys have any thoughts on SJW, like people going out there and doing that kind of stuff? And do you have any examples you can bring to bear, like opinions on any examples? Maybe, Sirius, do you have any thoughts on any of that kind of stuff? Or
I mean, there's people that I see that's out there trying to make a cause and do like stuff that's positive and make a message, and for like the right things, and there's some people that's sending messages for like the wrong things. Mm-hmm. But they all like they send messages. So it's just both narratives. So it's just whatever narratives that they pick out. So it's like they stick with one narrative, but some people want you to pick like both narratives to see what narratives has come from. But one person is like this one narrative, and they just stuck with one narrative. But some people just don't see two narratives at the same time. They just only stick with one narrative.
Go ahead.
I believe more like seeing like from both angles, not just one angle.
Agreed. I think most of the time, most people see the Urban Dictionary version of everyone, and it's very rare you see the Wikipedia definition where it's someone willing to sit down and discuss, look, this is bad, offensive, whatever, for whatever reason. These are our reasons. We need to try and come together on this versus, fuck you, I'm right, get rid of that now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's different people, like, you can, like, I'm sure if you, like, just watch through videos and Facebook or stuff, you have people like, I'm not playing politics, so don't think I am, like Ben Shapiro's videos, where he sits there and wants to talk about, yes, he has his own narrative, and this is my thing, prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And people just try and shut him down because, no, you're wrong, you're racist. You're this, you're that. Like, there's no narrative there. And, like, he will sit there and defend his point or try to defeat yours. You don't see that. You just see one-sided, nope, you're wrong, fuck you.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be a sort of who's an actual SJW and who's an SJW elite. Like Gut said, oh well, you basically see the ones who are out for their own agenda, and I kind of disagree with it, because
Really?
yeah, and the reason why I disagree with it is because it's sort of like how it is with black folk or any culture or religion. It's about who speaks the loudest. You can have 6 billion people who are actually actively trying to make a difference positively and trying to have a conversation, and 300 people who outscream all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's some of the propaganda or initiatives or fucking agendas most SJWs have. They all rally around sort of the same things, but no one looks into like what work is being put into how they're going about politically to achieve their agendas. You just hear people saying, you're wrong, my idea is right, and they're the loudest, but the people in the background are people who are doing the actual work.
Can you give an example?
For instance, the Black Lives Matter movement. There's a lot of people in the background who set up rallies and, you know, actually try to have conversations and try to create like spaces for black people to be safe and have these conversations or donate to different funds and charities. But what people will hear is, police suck, they're killing people, so we have to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the biggest one right now, at least I can think of, that sort of just speaks out the most. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people behind the Black Lives Matter movement that isn't doing that versus the maybe 500-600, and these are not actual numbers, who are just like, we need to loot and burn and do all of that good shit.
Yeah, and I'll let you finish. I ain't trying to cut nobody off.
No, go ahead.
But like what he said, but like from that part, like my thing is the same thing with the Black Lives Matter. Like there's other people that I look at, like for instance, like some people don't even agree with this the girl named Candace Owens, right? Mm-hmm. She's so political. Some people just look at one narrative, but she's speaking for everybody. But people just look at it from just the left side, but they don't see it from the other side. She's trying to speak to everybody from both sides, and then a lot of people just don't see it as that. They just thinking that, oh, she's not telling us something, she's just telling us something wrong. She's not telling us something, she's just telling us something wrong, but she's really just trying to explain to everything that's right to us and stuff like that. A lot of people don't really see that as well. But she is.
I have to interrupt you for 1 second. For anybody that doesn't know who she is, can you elaborate more on who she is and what she's talking about, what she's representing?
Candace Owens one of like a speaker, like a pronounced speaker. Like she speaks for black people and like other people for well. She was like one of the people that was. She wasn't a Republican or she wasn't a Democrat, but like when she voted for Trump, she started going to the right side because like Trump he was more of a realist, and that's what she was going for. Like some people didn't see that with Trump as well. Like Trump is more of a realist as well, so she started going to like following that direction and like explaining more from that direction from that point on. And a lot of people from that side really didn't see that as much either. Because a lot of things that Trump did, a lot of people didn't see that as well. Because what Trump did also was open a lot of job businesses for the black community. A lot of people didn't see that as well from that start point. Because like prison reforms, like you know how you get 3 strikes. Trump stopped that. A lot of people didn't see that as well. There's a lot of things Trump did, and a lot of people don't see that, and that's a lot of attention to it. She brings attention to it. And a lot of people don't see that. Just like the same thing what he's trying to explain from the Black Lives Matter. And a lot of people say like, oh, where's Black Lives Matter, right? So like black people killing black people, that's not from the Black Lives Matter. They telling you about police brutality. They saying that they want that to stop. But like there's people that's like in different like communities that should also try to stand up and try to break that cycle where they need to stop all the the violence. There's like us as a community, and there's people that we don't even know about that's also trying to do something that's trying to stop all the violence, and nobody never heard of them.
She's also very big on actually pulling up her sources and where she gets her statistics and explaining where the numbers she's giving you come from versus just quoting blanket numbers and not being able to defend it.
Right.
I've seen a lot of her stuff. And I'll admit, like, I try and look at everything from both sides. There's a lot of her shit I agree with, and then there's sometimes I'm like, no, bitch, you wrong.
Yeah.
You dead wrong that time.
Yeah. Like, the thing she said about George Floyd, rest in peace, was, she was kind of wrong for saying that, but she did say, may him rest in peace, but she shouldn't have brought up his whole history and background and stuff like that. But, she just felt like she had to let it be known, but I don't think it should have been known. She should have just let this man be,
Does all your past deeds equal you deserve a harsher punishment this time?
Yeah.
I think they want their drill back.
And that's the thing about SJWs. In the grand scheme of things, past, present, or future, it doesn't matter. And this kind of, I won't go too hard into it because it has a lot to do with cancel culture, and I can sort of understand why he said that's going to be the bigger topic there.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
No matter what you're doing, it's about pushing an agenda.
Yes.
Past, present, future, whatever validates their point is up for game.
Yep.
If you smoked weed or sold pot back when you were like 12 or 14,
He's a drug addict.
That's gonna matter when you're 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Oh, you deserve to die because you sold pot to one person back in like the fucking 6th grade. That it's kind of toxic.
Very, very much so. I have to agree with that.
It's really toxic.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Finish your statement. And then
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was very surprised to even read these definitions. I kind of always thought of SJW as, okay, I'm sitting at home on my couch, typing on my keyboard, whatever, on the PC, like, ranting in a chat room and trying to get people to stop doing something that I don't believe in. Like anything I don't believe in, I'm going to make everyone else believe my way, and if you don't believe my way, I'm going to silence you, I'm going to shut you down, I'm going to whatever. Like I guess
would call that more of a subsect. They are SJWs, but they're a subsect. They're not, you know, it's like trying to compare Black Lives Matter with the new Black Panther Party.
Mm-hmm.
They say they're Black Lives Matter, but no, they're the new Black Panther Party, and they have totally separate agendas and ways of viewing it.
They're also not as loud. I barely hear anything from the Black Panther Party. Lately, I've been hearing a lot more about NSFAC and their actions and whatnot.
Yeah. I hear a lot more of them in Texas because, for some reason, they think they're going to take Texas as their land.
That was the funniest thing I've heard. And Texas is going to give it up without a fight.
Yep, because we're scared. If you do not know, I am from Texas. So when I hear that shit, I just laugh. But that's where, like, funny. Those are the cyber warriors of the SJW. Right. Where they just try and, like, spam the chat room, spam. It's like, oh, we can silence everyone just by doing this.
I think it's also, like, to be known that you should be very careful with SJWs and how they propagate their stuff. An oversaturation, and I think you said this in the definition, an oversaturation of whatever you want to do oftentimes diminishes the goal that you want to reach. Black Lives Matter, for instance, or the Me Too movement. You know, it got so big, so fast that it sort of lost. It sort of got lost in translation where
the lines
why
are
it was made. Yeah.
I also know, like, bringing it up, like the Me Too, like all these people who were supposed to be big supporters or in charge of it turned out to be hiding secrets that they were abusers as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like once, you know, you have this great cause you're trying to promote, and then they find out, oh, you're a mega pervert too, they associate your entire movement as crap. Because, like, you're just bullshitting us to try and win, and you're one of them.
And it kind of begs the question as well, where do you draw the line as, say, each and every one of you were an SJW, right? Like, a hardcore social justice warrior. Where do you draw the line?
Warriors.
Where do you draw the line for your cause? Like, at what point do you stop and go, hey, I'm going too far, or this is really messed up?
I think the biggest problem with that one, though, is that's going to determine based on everybody's personal morals.
True.
And it's the fact that we're supposed to be able, just because we have a different opinion doesn't mean we have to fight about it. You know, like one of the big ones out there, the whole thing going on with the trans community, and anyone who's this or that is just transphobic or homophobic and this and that. And it's like, just because I'm straight and I don't understand the attraction between men to men, I don't have a problem with homosexuals. I don't give a shit. Love who you want to love. But even saying that, I've been told I'm transphobic and I'm homophobic. And it's like, just because I don't see it doesn't mean I have a problem with it.
There's people...
You know, if I'm out there... Go ahead.
There's, just before I forget to say this, it's to tag on to what you just said. There's people that, let's say I had somebody on my podcast that was representing an issue that somebody was completely against, and SJW was completely against the issue of the person who I had a gun rights activist. Come on, I had Colin Noir. I don't know if anybody's familiar with him. So let's say I had him on the podcast. There's people that would try to get me canceled or shut down or like be really against me because I gave him a platform with which to spread his word. You know what I mean? They don't even want people to let those people be heard. Like, that's ridiculous.
True.
Kind of a double standard, because I don't want to have Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on my door at 7 o'clock in the fucking morning. Mm-hmm. But you still got to deal with it in certain states. I mean, I don't want to turn on the TV and hear Christian gospel or Christian news every morning, but I have to.
But you also have the ability to change the channel.
Yeah. I do.
That's
But
the
the people I
thing.
live with, that's not an option.
This is true.
That's the thing, though. Instead, like, I'll get into this more in the cancel culture side of it, but if somebody's doing something you don't like, don't look. Don't go over there and go into their restaurant. Don't buy from their business. Don't watch their TV show. Don't listen to their podcast, whatever. But why do you have to get them ruined? You know what I mean? Why do you have to stop their way of life? What does it matter to you? Like Guts was talking about, you know, different sexual orientations. What do you care what somebody's doing in their bedroom?
Because they want you to believe they same beliefs. That's what it is. They
It's
just stuck with
ridiculous.
one narrative.
It's ridiculous.
Up ahead.
I kind of agree with that, and I kind of don't. I don't know, it's really odd when you look at things from, like, an oppressive state, and I'm not sure how oppressed the trans community is, quote-unquote. I'm not sure what they're fighting for. I haven't really looked into that.
I would say it depends
I'm
on where you
bisexual,
live.
you know? I'm bisexual, you know? And
No
a
problem
lot of
with
the gay community doesn't support the idea of bisexualism, you know? The LGBTQ sort of just leaves them as an outlier, even though the B is in there, you know?
Yeah, your name and slogan has bisexual in it, but we don't like them.
Yeah, they're pretty much like a really, really huge outlier. And transphobic men, women, gay, lesbian, you know, they look at bisexual as, oh, you're like the worst of the worst. You're gross state. They call you some very, very unpleasant terms, and they sort of look down upon you.
And see,
But
that's
you
the
don't-
thing. I'm sorry.
But you don't hear the bisexual community going, we're gonna take our propaganda and shove it down your throat, and if you don't like it, you can fucking die.
You know, I don't recall ever hearing like a bi person ever pick up the mic.
This word is really
Ever.
evil too.
Like, if you understand what I mean by that, like you see the rallies, you see that. I've never seen someone get on there, I'm a bisexual and this is what we want. It's always, you know,
There's
gay,
a lot of them.
lesbian, trans.
Right?
But like you were saying, like they don't get up and like shove it in everyone's face. Like you're saying, like I'm agreeing with that. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Right. There's no need for it. There's none.
Yeah, this shouldn't be like, you know, I agree on that standpoint, because like the same thing with that, like, you know how just like with black people, like a black man shouldn't be trying to even try to diss a person that's gay as well, because you know what, we've been called all types of shit too. So like, what's the point of trying to either call somebody a gay person? I mean, a gay person, that type of the F word, stuff like that, or bisexual. I don't see it as that. I see us all equal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck what your race is, or who you like, what you prefer, whatever. You like man, you like animals, you fucking like animals. Fuck.
I judge you on whether you're an asshole or a bitch or not.
Yeah, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole.
And those
That's
terms
it.
are not selective to one gender. I know
No,
guys who can be bitches, and I know women who can be assholes. Like, it's just the way the world is, but...
I mean,
This is some. I just gotta mention. You mentioned animals, right? Whether you're fucking animals or not, I have to say this. I can't not say this.
no, I'm not fucking animals.
No,
motherfucker.
it's not what I was gonna say. Not what I was gonna say. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? You gotta add that on the end. That's a very gray line, because you have to brings up the whole thing of, well, does the animal actually have consent? And then you're like, well, wait a minute, I can kill an animal and I can eat it, but I can't fuck it? Like, what? Does that make
Are
sense?
you looking to fuck one, Infamous? You
No,
sound very curious.
listen. My dad had chickens in the past, right? Now he's got canaries or something like that, right? I'm going somewhere with this. Don't get freaky on me.
So you like choking a chicken?
They recently had to separate the not canaries, what are they, parakeets or something, into two different cages, because two of them are like getting all, you know, with each other, and they're making eggs and stuff, and my dad's like trying to make a nest for the egg and everything. I'm like, why don't you just let it go, or why don't you make an omelet? I used to eat the chicken's eggs. What, the parakeets are cuter, so we don't eat those eggs, or we
Those are
don't throw them
tiny
away?
little eggs.
Like, yeah, but I mean, like, he's trying to, like, make
Yeah.
more of them. I'm like, why is it okay to eat the chicken's eggs? Don't give a shit about them, but the parakeets, you know, we give a shit about whether they, because he's like, I just can't see the egg laying there and go to waste. And whatever. I gotta get a nest so they can make the babies or whatever. I'm like, it's silly.
I don't know.
It's
Maybe it's because like there's a frequency at which we breed chickens versus the frequency at which we breed parakeets.
We also don't see a chicken normally as a pet.
Yeah, but they're both birds.
Versus...
They're both probably similar mental.
Oh, I totally agree.
And everything like.
Wait a minute. What does this have to do with you getting consent from the chicken to fuck it, though?
That would never enter into
direction.
my mind. That was you guys bringing it up. I just got off of that on that tangent because of what he said. Like, you know, the animal doesn't have consent, and then it brought up what happened today. It was funny. So go ahead. Go back to, you know, what you were talking about with the sexuality things and stuff, or we could move on to something else if you guys want.
I just wanted to pantomime off of that real quick. And you mentioned consent. There's a group out there who says that the babies, like a newborn, needs consent for you to like give them needles or to touch them because they're naked when they're first born. And that the child needs to sign a consent form before doctors do anything with the child. There are people out there petitioning for this.
Those kids are gonna die before they get that old.
We're born naked, and we, like, that's how God, if you believe in God or whatever, nature, whatever path you want to take as to how we were created, that's how we were brought into the world. And if you look at a lot of other cultures, they don't view being naked as something dirty and filthy and cover it up, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
it's
they don't.
The whole thing with sexuality and nakedness and all that stuff. America, specifically, in some ways, in some ways, we're very behind other countries, and it's kind of silly.
If you make a big deal about it, it becomes a big deal.
Like my sister was like, my 10-year-old sister has asked me before, and she talks to me and she talks to my mother and my father, and and she's like, I don't get why you have to wear a bra. I don't get why it's hot out and it's summer and the boys are taking their shirts off and I can't take my shirt off. You know, and you try to explain that to them, like, it's basically because been raised, and if everybody had been like that for a long time, it would be no big thing. You know, if it was okay for women to take their tops off, like, for a long time, it'd be all right. But at some point, somebody decided, no, you got to cover that up. You know, and
it's
then,
still like,
you know what I mean?
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I think because it's taboo, that's why we get like a little guy will get the excitement as much as he does when he sees a pair of boobs, you know what I mean? If we grew up seeing them all the time, it wouldn't be as big a deal, you know what I mean? Just like if your parents give you a glass of wine with dinner or something like they do in Italy or something, you're less like, maybe, I don't know if this is an actual statistic, but I would think you're less likely to run out and have the crazy binge drinking parties that kids do in the U.S. in college and teenager years and stuff, because it's something forbidden, so they go bananas with it when they can get their hands on it. Some of my friends growing up that had the biggest problems with drugs and alcohol were the ones that were the most sheltered as young kids, because as soon as they were able to get out there and do stuff, they're like, ooh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I was never allowed to do that, I'm going to go do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I believe that way.
I'm with you on that. Like, I know, like, just from my standpoint, like, I'm one of those guys that I don't have any modesty. Like, I don't give a shit. Nudity is nothing. And then, like even my nephew already, like, he's 15 and, like, there's times, like, he'll get worried about, like, taking his shirt off in the wrong crowd. It's like, why are you worried about that? Well, we're not supposed to take our shirts off anymore because it's not fair because the girls can't.
Mm-hmm. Really?
It's like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well,
apparently that's one of the new things they're starting at schools is boys cannot have their shirts off because it's not fair because girls can't. So nobody can. And it's like, this is crazy.
So, do you agree or disagree with the SJW campaign or the feminist campaign? They kind of coalesce of women breastfeeding in public?
I personally don't give a shit. If you want to breastfeed in public, breastfeed in public. It's a tit. Get over it. You know? But apparently that state of view is very uncommon,
Spider, we cleared out the nest.
where it's like, as much as like, I'll admit it was a little different because it was like family, but like, when my sister was breastfeeding my nephew and my niece, there were times I'd walk in the house and there she is at the table with a kid on her, in her arm with a mouth on her tit, and it's like, I got to see my sister's tits today. Not exactly my best day. And then like after the third or fourth time, it was like, it's just a tit, who cares?
That's the thing, like, it would become something that it's like, it don't even faze you. It's just, it's the initial shock because of the way the culture is, that, ooh, that's forbidden, that's taboo, we're not supposed to see that, you know?
Remember in the 1800s when showing an ankle meant you were a whore?
Yeah. It's weird.
That is very true.
Weird the way people think sometimes. You were saying, do we believe in the SJW? What were you trying to say about that?
Like, do you believe in the...
Basically, should women be allowed to breastfeed in public versus they should have to cover it up because they're exposing themselves?
Oh, that was the point you were trying to get to?
Yeah. And there was another sub-question that sort of came with that specific thing, since we're talking about social justice warriors.
Yes.
Socially, do you believe there is a correct or non-correct time to do so? For instance, should you pull out your tit in a restaurant full of people to feed your baby at the table while others are eating?
I mean, that's the kid eating.
Wrong with it. The kid's eating, you're eating.
Yeah.
I mean, it all goes back to the way you're raised in different cultures. If we'd stop making a big deal about it, it would not be a big deal. You know, like, as weird as it may sound, how many kids, when they're young, see their parents naked at some point? How many kids took a bath with their parent? And at what point did it stop? You know, it's not a big deal, but then some people are like, oh my God, your 3-year-old was in the shower with you? That you're exposing yourself to them. That's horrible. And it's like, they gave their kid a shower while they were in the shower. Big deal.
I mean, what about that time when your parent becomes so old that you have to take care of them? You know, you have to start giving them baths and shit. Is it going to be weird for you then?
I'm sure it
You
will
know
be.
what? I can actually answer that question. And that's only because with my mom, she had very bad ovarian cancer and different shit went down. She didn't take care of it for a while, and it got really bad where the cancer was pushing through her uterus and into her vagina.
Ooh.
And there was nothing more they could do, and they're sending her home for hospice, end of term care. Like, this is the end. She has a couple months, get what you can left. And because of my injuries to my back and shit, and I don't work because of it, you know, my brother asked, you know, can you come to the house and stay with her during the day when everyone else is working? Because, you know, y'all has like 4 kids to manage, and, you know, she's trying to work too, and I have to work, Dad has to work. I told him no problem. And there were times like my mom, like, she had more of a, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry, like, you're about to see something today you probably wished you never saw. And like, my state of mind went to just kind of ignore it's there and like, Mom, I'm gonna help you up. It doesn't matter. And like, even as a 30-year-old, like, my mom's sitting there like, well, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to see my cookie right now, but I have to get up.
No.
It's like, really, Mom? You're gonna call it a cookie? You're gonna call it a cookie to a 30-year-old? It's like, Mom, I've seen a pussy before, you know? And she's like, well, you are married. I hope you have. It's like, so, like, we don't have to, like, play little kids with it. Like, and, like, in the end...
that's just the parent thing. They're always going to give those little fucking...
And, like, it was a little awkward, I'll admit, to begin with, because... And it wasn't so awkward because, like, oh my God, it's my mom's vagina. It was more awkward of... I didn't think I was going to have to treat a parent like this for a long time.
Well, it even gets awkward sometimes, like, when you're a dad and you've got a daughter, or you've got versus a son and you've got to change a diaper, right? Or let's say, for instance, me, I help my parents with foster care and stuff, and I've gone through all the background checks and all that, and like, you gotta help take care of the kids. There's been times where we've had little girls where I've had to change their diapers, and you know, the first couple times it's like, oh, this is a little weird, like, I don't know, like, you know, is this okay? You know, my mom's like, yeah, I mean, you have to. What do you do? Let her sit there in a dirty diaper? You gotta change her, so. And it just becomes, like, normal, you know? It's like, no big deal. Like, don't even really think about it. You know?
I think I've seen the other side of that where, like, you know, I've had friends, and, like, me and my brother have like, most of our friends are the same friends. But, like, I've seen it where, like, my brother has 2 daughters now, and, well, technically 3 daughters and a son. And we've had friends who, like, they're like, oh, I'm busy with this, and she has a dirty diaper, and he's like, where's the diapers? And they're like, dude, you can't change my daughter's diaper. Like, what the hell you do? Like, why are you trying to? And he's like, dude, I have 3 daughters. I've changed how many diapers? It's not gonna matter that I change hers. Well, that's just weird because, like, she's not your family. And it's like the first time I heard that, I honestly was dumbfounded. I'm like, is he for real? You know, like, in our family, it's like, hey, you want to change your diaper? Knock your fucking self out. Go for it.
Yeah.
One less time I have to deal with that shit. Fucking hey, man. You can change as many as you want. And then, like, just talking with our friends about it, like, did you really think it was, like, weird? He goes, well, like, that's the way, like, my mom taught me, like, we're supposed to be, and, like, you're not supposed to let anyone else touch your kids. It's like, there's just a difference in changing a diaper and touching their kids. You know, just wiping them down and putting a diaper on them, they're not doing anything. You know, now if they were, like, I'm sorry, I don't know the better way to phrase it. If it's a little girl and they're sitting there opening the vagina and trying to say they're cleaning on the inside, like, no, something's fucking wrong here.
Well, it's gotten
Like,
to
we
the
know
point.
better.
It's gotten to the point where people. I've heard comedians talk about it, make jokes about it, where people are afraid to even, like, you know, go and talk to a younger kid, or, you know, the little kid starts talking to you in public or whatever. You're like, you want to watch exactly what you say and how you conduct yourself, because you don't want to be like, yeah, exactly. Somebody will look at you. Why are you talking to that little kid? You know.
What's on about? Aren't there SJWs trying to make pedophilia a normal thing?
Yeah,
like,
yes, they are.
Why'd you pat little
Yes,
Tommy
they
on his
are.
head? You know, like, what do you got thoughts in your brain? You know, like, that's just
And,
every little thing is.
You're not
scrutiny.
supposed to call them pedophiles. They are MAPs, minor attracted persons.
Is that really?
That is really a thing. Look it up.
For real?
Yes, because I have family members who are trans. I have family members who are gay and lesbian. If you name it, there's probably one of it in my family somewhere.
Huh.
I mean, like, as bad as it sounds, we have already sent the fucking pedophile to jail.
Really
Wow.
use the Valkyrie right now.
Oh, I think every family has at least one.
You know, and it's like, you know, they were all excited because, like, oh, we can get married, all those, you know, when they started legalizing it, and we can do this, and, like, I remember the discussions because they were so pissed off because pedophiles gave themselves that acronym, MAPS, minor attracted persons, and have been trying to attach themselves onto the LGBTQ, whatever the fucking acronym now is. I'm sorry, I can't keep up.
Yeah.
All of their legislation they're trying to get passed because it's a sexual orientation.
Huh.
Like, it's not a disease, it's not this, they were born that way, so they should have the same rights. And it's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, you don't, I'll flat out admit, I don't think I'll ever accept that one because you don't fucking touch a kid.
Yeah. That's bizarre.
And, like, oh, man.
I
got
find
fearful about that one.
I do find it weird, though, what we decide is right and what we decide is wrong as a society. Like, a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old can't do nothing together. Like, that's that close in age. Like,
That's
it's just a
statutory
number.
rape.
Or like
There
how
are
an
some laws that
18-year-old,
allow that.
or how like an 18-year-old, they can go be a soldier and die for the country or whatever, and they can vote too.
But they can't have a
They
beer.
can't have a beer, right? Now in some states you can't get a cigarette either. Like,
Yeah.
what?
So powerful. Be careful.
You know what I mean?
We're one of those states.
What the whole sense does that make? Oh, I am not outfitted for this boss. All right.
Isn't life just peaceful?
Yeah, it is. I know you don't have a whole lot of time, Sirius. Before you leave, you guys want to get into what the cancel culture stuff, or do we have more we want to say on SJW?
I don't mind either way. I really don't.
Yeah, they're going to tie
I
into
think-
each other a lot either way.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
SJW, like, it's one of those topics, depending on what we get started on, we can segue 1,000 times and talk for 5 hours and
Yeah.
never get done.
Yeah, we kind of got off the subject a little bit there too anyway, but I have, with cancel culture, I have 3 examples after I read the definition of what cancel culture is according to the internet,
Okay.
that I want to bring up, so that's why I want to get into that one too. Let me, since I'm doing gameplay along with the discussion, I gotta get here to a part where I can read. I'm gonna dip off to the side for try not to get eaten by this boss. Jesus. A worm tried to gobble me up. I'm gonna dip over to the side here. If you guys go down, I'll come over there and help you. Alright, so according to Wikipedia, cancel culture is a form of a boycott in which someone is thrust out of social or professional circles, either online, on social media, in real life, or both. They are said to be canceled. The Urban Dictionary, which, by the way, the Urban Dictionary always seems to have a much more long, drawn-out definition of things. Cancel culture is a desire to cancel out a person or community. It is characterized by the response or an immature person who, when they are shown to be wrong, will call on their followers to report the social media accounts of the person or group that did the criticizing, rather than discussing or showing by evidence where the criticism is incorrect. Now, I have 3 examples of this, and I'm going to bring them up one at a time. We'll discuss them each individually. Is anyone familiar with Colin Moriarty? Like who he is?
I am not.
Colin Moriarty, Crimson, serious? You don't want to use her now?
Thank you.
That name sounds familiar.
I've heard the name, yeah.
Okay, he used to work for IGN, alright? Him and, what's his name? I can't think of his friend's name. They both ended up leaving IGN and starting their own thing called Kinda Funny Games. Alright? And what they do is they're basically like, they do gameplay, they interview people, like they've had Troy Baker and Nolan North and other people from the gaming industry on their show, and they talk to them. They do, you know, all kinds of video game related stuff and comedy, alright? They started this whole thing together and with 2 other guys. And then on, I don't remember the year, I didn't write down the year, on, which I didn't know this was even a thing, on International Women's Day.
Yes.
Anybody? Okay.
Yes.
Everybody knew that was a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing until this happened.
Me either.
On that day, Colin Moriarty tweeted out, quotation marks, this is exact tweet, peace and quiet. Hashtag a day without a woman. Now, is that,
Okay.
before I tell you what happened to him, as a result of messaging that, now granted none of you are women, but do you, if you were the one to message that, or you saw your friend message that, would you think, oh shit, shit's about to go down?
I wouldn't.
I mean, the world is so fucking opinionated. I could say cheeseburgers suck, and I'll get
You motherfucker! How dare you!
canceled into the ground. Like,
I mean, that's the general consensus in how you see things these days. You make one abstract comment, and how I responded is exactly what you get by millions of people.
yeah, I would kind of expect that to go awry. It's not like if I was sending to Guts a message and it's like, oh, well, you know, my wife's gone. It's finally quiet in the house.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say the same exact thing. I was gonna say the same exact thing.
I mean, it's also the fact that, like, people can't take a joke anymore. And, well, that's not true. It depends on the joke and who said it, is whether it's allowed or not. But, like,
Crazy.
I wouldn't have seen that as a big, big deal. Like, okay, you're an asshole, that was rude or whatever. But I don't see making a federal case out of it.
Well, this is what happened to Colin Moriarty. after making that tweet. Basically, the next day, he was no longer on the show. He was forced out of the company by the other three guys. He was basically forced into resigning, quitting the company and the show that he helped build and everything because of that. Because they were afraid they were going to get so much backlash, because they were getting some backlash, and they, instead of standing up for him or defending him or taking a stance, they just hung him out to dry. So he was gone.
Wow.
So he went off and he did his own YouTube thing and his own Patreons. He's got a slew of Patreon supporters, has his own YouTube channel now, and I don't know what else he might be doing besides that. But he's not as successful as he was when he was with them. At least I don't see him as successful. He's not as big, and he was forced out of something he had created like that over a simple comment like that. His livelihood, his job, his art, his creation was taken from him over that tiny little comment. That's how I view it. I view it as, if you got offended by that, you're really thin-skinned. And okay, you could choose no longer to watch that YouTube channel, that show, whatever, not be a fan anymore if you see that comment or whatever, but to try to get him fired,
destroy him,
get him removed, get him out of there because he made that's ridiculous. It wasn't even what I would interpret as sexist or racist or anything like that. It mildly offensive to some people, in my opinion, is the worst you could say about that comment. But then again, everybody's got their opinion. But when you're talking about somebody's livelihood,
I mean, there was a case some years ago, and there was this guy on a train, and I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this, and there was a woman who claimed that this man raped her in a span of 5 seconds. And there was footage of them on the train or bus or whatever it was, and the dude is standing there literally doing nothing. He just walks past her. And in that time, he walked past her, he pulled down his pants, took out his penis, pulled down her pants, entered her, nutted, and abused her. All within that 5-second time span. This dude's livelihood was torn apart. Nobody believed that he wasn't a rapist. And this case was supported, and it went on for months.
Wait, the video showed that he didn't, though?
Yep.
The video was just him walking past. Yeah, he was just walking past her. He lost everything.
Ridiculous.
And now he's scared to go outside and fear that someone else will make another rape claim against him.
Or
because of something
beat the shit out of him because he's a rapist.
Quote unquote. It was disproven. The case was won. He didn't do anything,
but he was found guilty in the court of public opinion.
Yep.
She wouldn't have made such a fuss unless he actually did it.
It's the mob mentality. They're tried, convicted, and punished, in the court of public opinion, without a trial, without lawyers, without any type of defense or due process.
Yep.
It takes away all, the entire justice system. You're not innocent until proven guilty anymore. Somebody accused you. You must be guilty. Fuck your life.
Yep.
Very few times I've seen them not lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the only one I can think of currently and more up to date on that was Johnny Depp.
What happened with him?
His ex-wife accused him of being abusive and beating her during the marriage, and he was sexually assaulting her and all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sue him in court. He even has video evidence. Everyone that knew the both of them, they turned against her and you're full of shit. And they proved she was guilty and she's going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
But it was he still lost. If it was a common person, they'd be done. But he lost tens of millions of dollars in movie deals and shit like that over it. But in the end, he won. But like I said, that's the very rare.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
crazy.
very similar to one of the people I was going to bring up. And I brought up some people here that I feel like were justified in, like, they're innocent. I believe Colin Moriarty, that's an innocent man who got punished. Kevin
Right.
Spacey, I don't know, because the trial has not, as far as I know, he's not even gone to trial yet. So he hasn't been
Right.
found guilty. But his career is gone.
It's gone. It's done.
Like, I used to watch House of Cards. Like, that was one of my favorite shows, and that's how I got onto this story and given a shit about the fact that this happened. The story that I had heard, hold on, let me read what I have written down. He was fired from House of Cards show on Netflix and lost movie contracts that he had and other things that he had going on, and basically blacklisted from Hollywood after being accused of sexual assault on a 14-year-old boy. When I initially heard about this story, it wasn't a minor that I had heard about. I had heard about an 18-year-old boy, or like, well, boy, 18 years old, so he's a man, whatever, 18-year-old man at a party, and what he had done is he was drunk, Kevin Spacey was, and potentially the 18-year-old was too, and they went in a bedroom on the side, and he, like, came on to the guy and, like, pushed him down on a bed, like, you know, he was going to do something, and then when the boy he pushed down, the 18-year-old, said no, he stopped. He didn't proceed any further, so he didn't rape him, he didn't force himself on him, he didn't expose himself. He just pushed him down on a bed and was, you know, being sexually aggressive, like, I'm gonna, you know, let's do something, I'm gonna take you right here, you know.
He stopped.
And yeah, and as soon as he heard no, he stopped. That's what I heard. And even though now I'm hearing it's 14 years old, so yeah, that's wrong because of the age thing. I didn't hear anything different about the circumstances. So as far as I know, what I said about how it went down is still how it went down. Now, he's since come out and said he's gay and stuff. And if he's found guilty, then heck yeah, he deserves to be punished because it was a 14-year-old kid. Like, you had an intention there to molest a 14-year-old. Okay, yeah, you know, we need to look into this further, and you need to be, you know, something needs to happen. But to instantly, when the accusation is made, as soon as somebody accuses you, it's your career's over. That's what I take issue with. Like,
Agreed.
That's ridiculous, because anybody can make up anything and accuse somebody of it. And then, you know, like a woman could accuse you of rape, somebody could accuse you, your ex could accuse you of, like, you know, doing something with your kids or something. Like, anything could happen, you know? Somebody could accuse you of something racist, and then your career's over? Like, what if it wasn't an actor? What if he wasn't rich? What if it was a regular, you know, Johnny whatever that you don't hear about, had a construction job, and then he got fired from his construction job and can't get a job from anybody now because he's in the local paper being accused of some crime that maybe he didn't commit. And yes, if he's found guilty down the road, then hey, fire him, get rid of him, he's going to go to jail anyway, he's not going to be able to have the job, you know what I mean? But to fire him immediately I don't agree with that. And somebody brought up, well, they're a business, they have to protect their public image, they can't be seen as supporting an accused child molester, a rapist, a racist, whatever the issue is we're talking about, whatever the case may be. You also can't accuse someone and then convict them in the court of public opinion without due process.
That's called slander.
You can't ruin somebody's life because somebody was accused of something. And the same
a big part of... Oh, go ahead.
I have one more example of it. It's kind of very similar. This one, this isn't children though. Say No to Rage, right? He's a popular Twitch streamer and YouTuber. He's still on YouTube right now, for now anyway. He's no longer on Twitch. He just got banned from Twitch.
Wow.
And
So did Dr. Disrespect?
yeah, some other people did. There was a big slew of people that got banned. And what supposedly happened with all of them was sexual misconduct or whatever. Some of them were sharing naked photos of girls online.
Over Discord.
Yeah, that's messed up. I don't think, from what I understand, he was mixed up in that. What he is accused of, initially anyway, apparently a couple other people have come out, and I don't have the details of all of the individuals, what they're saying he did. but initially it was allegations that he had like gone to a party or something, and he was like basically giving sexual advances or like flirting with a girl who didn't want him to be flirting with him, you know, and he's married, so he shouldn't have been doing that and stuff like that. And he's like, the next day, as all this stuff started happening, he's banned from Twitch. And once you're banned from Twitch, that's it. Like,
There's no coming back.
so all of his content that he had created up to that point, it's his livelihood. Was like I said, he's married, he's got a kid. That's how he makes his living.
To be fair, he was like banned from Guardian Con beforehand for the same reasons, sexual misconduct.
Was that
So
made
it's not
public?
like the banning. Yeah, it's public. How else would I know about it?
No, I mean like before
No.
this came out.
Before this came out, no, it was kept very hush-hush. Only a few people knew about it in the staff. MTash actually made a video on it. If you
Yeah,
wanna
I saw
go ahead and watch it.
videos. Yeah, about it.
But you know, the point is that he was banned for the same reasons that he was banned on Twitch.
Now,
So-
was it sexual misconduct like they're talking about? He was hitting on someone who didn't want him hitting on them? Or like do you know any of the actual facts of what he did? Because
Like I said, you might want to go see MTash video.
yeah,
of
because yeah.
He didn't go
Like
into
with,
details.
like going
the one
back
I
to our
watched.
conversation with cancel culture, you know, that type of a thing can be totally blown up out of proportion too. How many times have you ever asked out a girl and she was like no, and you tried to get her to go out with you a couple more times?
it kind of
You know,
stands
oh,
though, like
that's
how
sexual
many,
misconduct and sexual
How many-
harassment now.
how many complaints would have had to be made to get him secretly kicked out at that? Like, it wasn't made a public thing on purpose.
Of Guardian Con or of
Yeah, Guardian Con.
Okay,
Okay.
but here's the
See,
thing.
and like that's
did-
why
did-
like I'll have to watch the video, but that's why I'm asking. Like, there's a huge difference in hey, you want to go out and see a movie or you want to go do this, and hey, let me touch your pussy.
But did
No,
Guardian
it was-
Why don't you suck my dick?
did Twitch know about the Guardian Con thing when they banned him?
No, that came out after the fact.
Okay, so that's beside the point then. Like I said, he may be guilty. I don't know. All I know is when he got banned from Twitch, all that was being talked about was this one incident with this one girl, and it wasn't even accusations of rape. It was just accusations of stalker-like activity from her, and that he was making unwanted advances. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shouldn't that really be handled between her and him and lawyers? Why is Twitch banning him? That's his livelihood. That would be like you go to your job at an office, right? Or you have any job anywhere doing any fucking thing. When I used to work in a factory making phone books. That'd be me. Like, I went to a party one night. I made unwanted sexual advances to a girl, and then she went and tweeted about it. And the next day, I go into my job making phone books, and they say you're fired because you did that.
Yeah, but when she came out, it wasn't like she was the only one at that point.
But when
A couple
Twitch
other
banned
people came out,
when Twitch
and a
banned
couple of other people came out within like that same day. It wasn't like it was just one person making the accusation.
okay.
And at that point, I can understand Twitch being like, well, you know, this is like getting some really bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got banned, and then to find out further on that on one of his Discord servers that they were sending naked photos between women. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like the dude's a scumbag. Like, I can't
Mm-hmm.
I can't put it out my mind that he is, but it's not like Twitch was so hastily like, oh, we need to ban him, we need to ban him, we need to ban him. At least they waited a day.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't even do that. Like, jobs will fire you the second they found out you're accused of something.
Yeah.
They took the time at least to do a small investigation or to see if any more information came out. It wasn't immediate.
Mm-hmm. That's
And I can
where-
understand that being someone's livelihood, but dude, don't fucking do the shit.
Yeah. that's where I wanted to make my point about the whole thing, is that it has to be you're innocent until you're proven guilty. People's lives can't get ruined because somebody makes allegations. And there is, like you say, okay, multiple people came out. Sometimes that's for real. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Like they like to say. But sometimes
it's jumping on the bandwagon to get
yeah,
attention.
there has been instances of that too. People try to.
I mean, when you look at Bill Cosby, that happened to him. One person came up and it started a shitstorm, and he went through these court and trial cases for something that happened 40 fucking years ago.
Yes.
The point is that
Tiger
most people
Woods.
said something. Tiger Woods is another one. Yes. Like, I completely get the point that you make, and just because it's multiple people doesn't mean that it's true.
What did Tiger go through? What happened with him?
Affairs. Sleeping with multiple women, even sometimes by force, or trying to pay them off because he was paying them off because all of that crap. And then, like, they proved, like, it wasn't forced. It was that he was paying them off to shut him up because he didn't want his wife to know.
Okay. So he wasn't really necessarily... He was doing something maybe morally wrong, but not legally. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, depending on where you live, it's still illegal, too.
That
To
was
cheat
some
on your wife?
a while back.
Yep.
That Roseanne Barr said something on her show. Remember? I think it was a tweet, and then she got canceled for that.
Yeah,
And you know she ain't
say?
racist at all. Shit.
What did she say?
I don't even remember. But shit.
I do not remember the politician, but she made a comment that if a certain person and this person and a monkey had a baby, it would be her.
Huh.
And she wasn't even. I didn't consider that nothing like racist about that at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she had.
But because the lady she made the comment about was black, it was automatically racist because you compared a black person to a monkey.
Yeah.
Well, hasn't she made comments that were questionable in the past, too? Isn't that probably played into it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, everyone has.
Fuck, I love Roseanne Barr. Shit, man. I love the show.
Now, like, bringing that one up in particular, I have to give her some credit because, like, you know, that's when the new series of Roseanne came out. And she flat out threw herself on the fire and said, kill me off, you know, get rid of my character, keep the production going, because you're talking 100 people are now out of work. And we don't know when they're going to get another shot. Because this was going to be a long-running, you know, they were already in talks for like 5 seasons. So that was 5 years of pay. People were now out because we don't need you on another show. And she was talking more about the crew, not the actors.
Yeah. What happened with Tom Hanks? Kush in the chat is bringing it up.
Oh, he's a fucking pedophile.
Tom Hanks
I don't know if
is a
he is
pedophile?
or not. There's
He's
a
fucking
video
pedophile.
that, like, at the Academy Awards or whatever it was, they brought up Epstein, and there's 2 versions you can see. There's one where they bring it up and they're talking about the people who were friends with him, and they show Tom Hanks and he looks all weird, like, oh fuck, what's going on? Like, are they gonna bring it up? And then you see a full video of the whole long thing.
He's charged.
Where
He's charged. I think he got
they
charged for
finally
it.
charged him.
Yeah, I think he got charged. I think he's under investigation and everything right now.
Really?
Yep.
And I know one of the big ones is him and his wife fled the country. They became like Spanish citizens or something.
Yeah.
And everyone's like,
that's
that's admitting guilt. And like, but like the original videos, like if you watch both of them, he makes that face at a different time, and they edited the video to make it like, oh, it's exactly about Epstein. And like you said earlier, I'm waiting to see like the trials, the actual evidence. Like, okay, he's one of Epstein's pals. You know what I mean? Versus, oh, he must be guilty. Look, he ran away. You know, some people run because they don't want to deal with the shit.
What do you guys think, though, basically to close up the cancel culture discussion? We can still talk more about it, but I want to get a definitive... hold on, Kush is saying
opinion.
Something. He went to Greece to become a citizen because pedophilia is a disability there? What?
Weird.
Now,
I've never heard that.
do we have extradition with Greece? Because if we do, it ain't going to stop us from getting them if that happens anyway. Like,
We should have an extradition treaty with Greece.
well, yeah, you would think, because he would.
Well, I mean,
if he was
one of
smart,
our
he'd go
allies.
somewhere where we couldn't extradite.
Well, FBI can still get his ass, so it doesn't really matter. So, I think the FBI or whatever that type
they
of
have to get special permission to go in
yeah.
and get it.
Yeah,
The extradition treaties, I'm not trying to insult anyone. If you don't know more about it, it's the extradition says their police will arrest him and hold him for you until you come get him. Versus they can be like, look, we're not going to arrest him, we're not going to pick him up, but if you want to come get him, come get him.
Yeah. Okay.
Those deals are made all the time with countries we don't have extradition with.
Uh-huh. Not if he pays them 40 million, could you say? Oh, he might pay them 40 million and then they turn him in anyway.
Yeah. Weren't they bankrupt like a year ago?
Who? Tom Hanks?
Or Greece?
Yeah, they had huge financial problems.
oh, he might be the what you call it, the ambassador now.
Give us 20 installment payments of $20 million and we'll protect you here.
Yeah, he might be the ambassador now. So
That's
So, with cancel culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two questions I want each one of you to answer in as few or as many words as you want to. When somebody doesn't believe what you believe, if somebody is a white supremacist and they want to shut down you talking about how black should have equal rights, or they want to shut down you saying that you don't have a problem with gay people, they think otherwise. They think all gay people should be killed. It's against God, they shouldn't be able to marry and all that. Do you think, the question is, do you think that's okay that they be allowed to try to pursue shutting someone down? Is that okay? And then the other thing is, wait, what was the other thing? Now I'm losing my train of thought.
Looks like that's our target. Not careful, Guardian.
I guess that's pretty much it. Do you feel, what are you feelings on, should they have the right, or, okay, what's the other thing? The innocent till proven guilty thing. At what point do you protect a person's rights to be innocent until proven guilty? Right? So, do you allow someone to keep their job until it's proven in a court of law? Do you fire them as soon as they're accused if it's going to hurt your bottom line? Do you protect them until a certain number of accusers come along? Shouldn't there be some kind of rules for this kind of stuff to protect people from the false accusations? Or if they're found out innocent later, should they be able to sue the company then for firing them?
Infamous, you might want to pick a person to go first because I think everybody has a lot to say.
Sirius went first in the beginning. Let's have Crimson go first and then Gus.
It's so weird because not every state has the innocent until proven guilty law.
That's not a fair.
There's a lot of states that have you're guilty until proven innocent. And no, it's not a federal thing. It does vary from state to state.
It does.
That's one. Two. What could be in place to protect someone from that? If it's an accusation, I don't think your livelihood should be affected. I need concrete proof before I'd be like, all right, you're a bad person. That's me. And I'm pretty sure there was another question, but you kind of said a lot there, and I lost track of it.
Well, do you think that there should be... Let's put it this way, another way. Do you think if someone that's doing the accusing, if they're found out to be falsely accusing, should they be prosecuted? Or let's say, if, I got fired from a job because somebody accused me, should I then be able to sue to get my job back, or to get, reimbursement for the lost wages or lost whatever,
Oh yeah, you should definitely fucking sue. There should be a law in place for that. There's no reason for you to let me go whatsoever. If it's true, sure. Take all the money that you gave me. I don't give a fuck. I was wrong. But if you're wrong, give me all of the shit I deserve. All of it. All the things. I want a 401k, I want a pension, give me all the fucking things. You wronged me.
You're paying my salary till the end of my fucking death.
Yep. That's me. I'm petty though, so.
Guts, your thoughts?
You know, I have kind of staggered answers for both. On the innocent till proven guilty, this is the one where it comes up where, you know, are you talking about just in a court of law, or are you talking about in general?
In general, I mean,
Would
in a
affect
court of,
my answer.
in a court of law, and
Because-
also, like, if, let's say the person, you know, put their whole campaign to shut down your YouTube channel, they used Twitter to do it, well, then that person should
Right.
be banned from Twitter now.
I would agree with that, but like, the reason I'm asking it the way I am is, and like, it's not a known across the country case that happened here, but like, it actually did happen. Like, I knew one of my friend's dads was one of the cops that responded for it, but at one of the parks we have here, there was a guy running around raping boys, and he would choke them when he raped them and kill them.
Oh, wow.
And the cops stepped it up, and they started more undercover patrols and shit, and they finally found him. And when they found him, he was in the middle of it with one, and when they told him to let him go and step away, he told them, hold on, I'm almost done.
Jesus Christ.
And in that case, the cops beat the fuck out of him. And when he went to trial, he got off at that time because they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, they probably
Now,
couldn't help it.
everyone in this city, and, you know, probably even the state at that point, knew this motherfucker is guilty as shit. And he tried to move out of state and run before they could get their case together for the others that had been abused. And now, to me, like that, he's already proven guilty, but he was innocent in court.
Yeah.
But we know he was fucking guilty. You know, fired his ass, like, that's a lot different than, well, if I just came out and was like, guys, I'm not going to do the podcast anymore because Infamous has been sending me messages about he wants to do all this dirty shit to me. And I keep spreading this around the clan and shit, and the clan starts to believe it, and they try and get you banned from PlayStation, from Twitch, from YouTube. There's no founding in it. Did I even show anyone the messages he sent me? No, I just said it because Infamous pissed me off one night.
It's like high school.
That's unfounded. And
It's
that's
like-
my bigger one is there has to be proof more than just someone's word. It's just like hearsay. Just because you did something dirty to Crimson and Crimson told me about it doesn't mean I have proof you did it.
That motherfucker did it, I'm telling you. He did it.
Right.
Watch on you, Infamous.
And
Why am
even
I
if I
always the one
believe you
singled out?
100%, even if I believe you 100%, you gotta show me the proof. I can't start a crusade against him just because I believe you.
It's like the high
And, like-
school mentality, though, like the junior high mentality, where they're like, "Oh, he's got cooties," you know what I mean? And everybody just starts believing him, or he's this, he's that, whatever. It's ridiculous.
You know, back from when we were in school, or I was in school,
Shit.
it was, oh, he must be gay.
Shit, you go to look at the Salem witch trials. It's kind of similar to that. You know,
Yeah.
she's a witch. Let's burn her. You know?
Yeah, I would honestly say we're right back to that.
Eh.
But, you know, I do know that, like, there's a lot of, especially after 9/11 when they started the whole Patriot clause and laws and shit, that the innocent until proven guilty no longer matters. Like, I know here particular in Texas, you are innocent until proven guilty, but they can still lock you up and shit without the proof because you were accused. And it takes a lot more to get out if you were accused than it ever should have. Like, what proof do they have? None. Then why am I not being released? Because we can't let you go, because if you are and something happens, we're now responsible.
That last harvester exposed an active fuel cell.
And I don't know if I agree with that or not. Like, it's a slippery slope. If, you know, my sister comes to me beat up and tells me, you know, a guy, her husband, whoever, beat the shit out of her and raped her or something, I don't want that motherfucker out. But how do I know it was really my brother-in-law that did it and she didn't get a friend to beat her up? Because, you know, you've seen it in the news and shit. People have done this shit now.
Oh no, my wife used to work at the lead inspector. And there's one lady who would throw herself up against the walls and scream like someone's killing her. She would go, my husband's beating me, my husband's beating me. And then you would go in the apartment and she's throwing herself up against the wall, stabbing herself and shit like that, and she's claiming that he's abusing her.
So, like, I know that happens, and that's why I said, like, I have the mixed feelings about it, you know. And, like, I can flat out admit it. Sister who went from one abusive relationship to another until she killed herself. Because she got tired, she just couldn't deal with it anymore. And every time she tried to call the cops or make a police report, they're like, well, we can take your statement or nothing, but, you know, there's no real proof he did it.
Domestic abuse is a whole nother fucking...
And it's like, you know, we came over here to get her because she said he was hitting her. She got a bruised up face and he locked himself in the room and won't come out. Like, that's obvious to me. Like, he's hiding from us. He knows he's fucked. But... like he said, you know, we've all seen those reports now where they beat themselves up and they're lying.
Yeah, but then there's also the times where they let off the husband off the hook and then they leave and
turns around and kills her.
Exactly. So it's
right.
It's tough.
That's why I said it's hard to know where to stand on that one because, you know, if they had locked them up for one night, we could have got her stuff out of there, got her help, whatever.
Yeah.
She would have been fine.
But here's where I go back to what I was talking about before. He gets accused of beating on his wife or whatever, right? By her.
Right.
Regardless of how the cops handle it, he's not going to go to work tomorrow and be fired. Oh, you're saying he is fired? He shouldn't be, right? Is he?
That's where I said, like, I don't know where I would stand. Like, and this comes from, like, me being a prison guard for all those years. We were flat out told, if you get any allegations against you, you're fired. Because you can't have anything like that on your record and be a prison guard. So if you're accused, you know, if you know you had a fight with your wife and you think she's going to try and play that card, go to HR, take a leave of absence. Because you can go through it all, get proved innocent, and then keep your job. You know, if you take a leave of absence, whatever time you have saved up, you'll get paid while you still have time. After that, you're not going to get paid, but at least you have a chance of keeping your job.
See, that's crazy to me. I've known some fucking psychotic women that fucking do some crazy shit.
Oh, my older brother, for the longest time, he kept bouncing back and forth with a psycho. And I mean, she would fucking tear his shit up, she keyed his car, she fucking flushed his keys down the toilet, she broke like 5 TVs. He would come home from her place. He would move in with her and then he'd come home. He'd move in with her, then he'd come home. He'd come home and he'd have like scratches all over his face and his chest. That's like, dude, you're with a fucking psycho. But he didn't want to do nothing because they're not going to do nothing about it. And it's like, lock that bitch up.
Well, for the longest time, it wasn't even like talked about or acknowledged. I thought I flipped that switch. That there was such a thing as like women beating men, you know what I mean? That's not a thing. You get laughed at. You know what I mean? It does happen sometimes, though.
See how I cry for help all the time?
Yeah, but we've told you, do you need help? We've given you safe words to call out and everything, and you never do, man, so I don't know. Unless she has a gun to your head, I think
y'all
you're just
joked about
bullshit.
that when y'all hear my wife come in and start hitting on me.
Yeah, but you kind of were fishing for
y'all. Yeah, and plus y'all already know, like I've said 1,000 times, she hits me and hurts herself. And like y'all have heard it where she's like smacking me like, oh my fucking head hurts. Well, bitch, you hit me. But like, I understand, like, there's a huge group of men cannot be raped, men cannot be abused because you're a man. You can just get away from it. Okay, you know, like even that first one, like, oh well, if your dick got hard, you must have wanted it. Like, no, that's not the way this works.
Did you ever hear Bill Burr? He's one of my favorite comedians. He did a skit where he's like, you know, if a woman got, I don't know if he was talking about a real case or if it was just hypothetical. I think I remember what it was. He's talking about when the guy got his dick cut off, right? I think it was Bobbitt.
Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah, and everybody was making jokes, and everybody was laughing, and it was hilarious, and, you know, he's making jokes, he's saying, oh, you know, people saw him on the street, hey, Stumpy, you know, like, but if a man did that to a woman, cut her tits off, like, there'd be a fucking, you know, a special ribbon that the NFL would be wearing, there'd be a day of mourning, you know, we fly the flags of half staff, you know. He's like, if anything happens to a guy, it's just considered funny. But if it happens to a woman, it's a big deal. Because you let it happen. It's weird. The world is weird.
Yeah.
That's all I got, guys. The world is weird. We're going to wrap up the episode there.
Well, it goes back to the old line, like, we got fed when we were kids. You know, you were a little boy, you fell off your bike or something, you're crying, suck it up, be a man, you're not really hurt. It's not that bad, why are you crying? You know, and now, like, I'll admit, like, sometimes the world flips too far to where now everyone gets a participation trophy because their feelings get hurt. But, like, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Oh my god, I thought you were gonna die.
I thought I was trying to scoop up the orb before it landed. Dad's like that. My dad's old school, and he's, you know, telling the kids, don't cry, you know, and he's like, you sound like this when you're crying, like, and I'm like, Dad, like, you're gonna make these boys afraid to have feelings when they get older, like, be like that, you know, like, let them, if they want to cry, let them cry, like, just because they're a man, they're not allowed to cry?
Mean, I will understand there's times kids cry for no fucking reason.
Yeah, but he's just, it's not how he is.
Yeah.
It's not what he's trying to, you're a man, you don't
cry,
you know?
I get what you're saying. Yeah. But, like, I agree, like, there's time, like, when I broke my arm, I never really cried. It hurt and everything, but I didn't cry. Now, when my knee got twisted around fucking sideways and I had my knee replaced, oh, I cried like a little bitch. But, like, I will admit, there was a time, like, it was going through my head, like, are they going to tell me not to cry?
I don't know, when I snapped my leg into, I didn't cry.
Physical pain has not made me cry very many times in my life. When I was younger, yeah. Like, I was a little kid, you know, busted bones and going down in a sled in the snow and slamming into a batting cage and my eyes all fucking swollen up. Yeah, I cried. But when I got older, no. But when emotional pain, like my divorce or my kid getting diagnosed with cancer, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even once in a while, a movie will bring that up. You know, it brings those feelings to the surface.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean?
Be a man. Like, men don't cry at that.
Yeah.
What's up,
Why
Infamous?
are you crying?
What's up, Infamous?
And Crimson.
What?
Oh, bro, when I watch Wreck-It Ralph, he has to smash the fucking candy car they made. I cry every time.
Now you're just being an asshole. Come on.
I'm serious. It brings some tears, man. I've dealt with a lot of abuse in my life, so like I can see like someone's dreams being crushed like that. It does bring tears to me.
Oh, I see where you're going.
I get it. Men don't cry. That's such a fun. That's like saying women don't shit.
They do.
The stink in the bathroom when you're done tells a different story.
That's a goddamn lie.
Yeah.
That's a damn lie.
If they don't,
women don't shit because they have flawless skin and every woman has straight hair.
Shit, you're talking about a whole other episode.
Yeah, you ain't met my wife. You ain't met my wife. God, I hope you're not tuning in when I say that.
Yeah, I'm not going to be volunteering on that one. I'll probably take that time off.
Yeah, my mother raised me. Women don't fart; they puffer.
Yeah.
They puff. That sounds worse.
Puffer.
Poof.
Poot?
They poof.
Oh, poof.
Poof.
Oh my god.
What is she doing? She's puffering.
Yeah.
I puffered. Oh god, no, it just sounds bad.
I remember hearing that when we were little. Your sister isn't farting, she poofed. If you
She's
call that a
pretty.
poof, then poofing sounds like my dad's truck backfiring. And then I get yelled at.
If you don't fart and you puffer, it sounds like you grew some gills out your fart. I just doesn't sound okay to me.
Well, does anybody have anything more on any SJW cancel culture related stuff? Anybody have anything else they want to talk about or bring up? Or we pretty much wrapped
Then
on
you
that?
bring up more. Then you bring up like the statues and stuff like that, and you talking about the beliefs and stuff. Yeah,
Is that fall under cancel culture? We were talking about that a
Yes.
lot in the racist episode, the racial attention episode.
That's more.
But
I'll throw it around if you guys want to talk. If you got something to say about it, serious, go ahead, and somebody can respond to what you say. You know, go ahead.
Just with everything that's going on with those type of cultures, like say the Confederate flags, the Jeju monuments, and other monuments. I think people should just leave those monuments alone. Like that's not affecting me, or not. Like I mean, it might affect other people, but that Confederate flag, it wasn't based on slavery. That flag wasn't based on slavery.
No,
That
the
flag was
battle
based
flag.
on, yeah, but that's all it was. There's other flags before that was based on slavery.
that are much more
And-
racist.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And then the point from let's say like the Jesus monuments and stuff like that. I think motherfuckers they might just go to hell for that shit.
What do you mean Jesus monuments? What Jesus monuments?
They're
getting taken
tearing down statues of Jesus because it depicts white Jesus, and that's
Oh,
racist.
my God.
Yeah.
Paint the statue,
And-
for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and it's like and if they want to believe Jesus is white, let them believe Jesus is white. That's like saying, let's say like for instance, they say a Black Lives Matter flag, and somebody's driving around with that. Somebody might just say, "Yo, I feel offended with that shit." What you gonna do? Call them a racist?
Yes.
Just because they feel offended with that? Well, then that same thing. It goes both ways. Just with the Confederate flag. Like, oh, you must be racist because you just think that flag symbolized that you think that's a racist flag, but it's not. And like from the first part, like us black people, I mean, a lot of black people don't understand more like Scottish, like people that from I think like Irish people. I think Scottish or Irish people, like they was the first slaves. Yeah, they was.
And Irish.
Yeah, they was like the first slaves, and then like the black man. It was the first black man was the one that had slaves, and it was 3 white men and 1 black man. He had the slaves, and nobody never knew that as well. Probably that, but I mean,
One of the
there's
biggest
so much.
original pro-slavery trying to make it legal when the country was first founded was a black man.
Yeah, and then like more like the slaveries, the slavery stuff that came from a black person as well too, and a lot of people don't see that, but that's where all the black stuff come from. And
I know Infamous has made the comment, and I've made the comment before. Like every people on this planet have been treated like shit by someone somewhere in their history.
Wow, it killed me there.
Most of them have been slaves at some point in their history by another
Yes.
race.
And like I've seen a lot of stupid posts, and I've seen some that are halfway educated, but like one of my favorite stupid ones I saw was, we need to just disband America because America created slavery.
Huh.
And I read that, and like I'll admit I was just kind of dumbstruck. Like, are they fucking serious?
Yeah.
but when you look
Like,
around,
Egyptians, Romans,
but when you look around,
Germans,
there's no slavery around. Like if it is, then it's the prison forms. If you want to get really like, you know what I'm saying, like mostly like technical, like
there is still an element of it out there, but it's so underground and illegal. Like, it has been brought up, the human trafficking that they're catching in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
There are rich families who have illegal immigrant children as their house servants. And they're basically slaves, but it's not the norm.
yeah.
Kush brought up that people want to erase history when they're taking down these statues. Or I wonder if we also didn't bring up, but we should probably talk about how they're taking, Uncle Ben off the rice and Aunt Jemima off the syrup and all that shit. That falls under the same category in my opinion. All the iconography being removed.
I just think Uncle Ben and fucking Aunt Jemima had shit to do with that, because I fucking buy that shit all the fucking time. They need to leave them motherfuckers alone.
Forgive me if I sound like a fucked up person when I say this next one. Please, God, forgive me. You guys forgive me. But I kind of brought it up to Infamous like the other day, but like, I don't know if they realize their shit backfired. Because all the showing like brands with black people and shit is gone. The only spokesman, trademark people out there left are white guys. Like, y'all took all of the people of color off of everything, and now it's all white guys. So every brand is now white.
You got a point.
I know people have seen the joke or seen the meme. Oh, I love what they did with Land O'Lakes butter. They took off the Indian and kept the land. Like, do y'all do people realize when they do that shit how fucked up that can look?
Some people they stick with one narrative. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And say like see, this is like a good thing, like with these topics, especially with the podcast and other things, like, because when you do like something like this, but then you have people like other people that don't see other things from the other side, and they just like
I swear to God, if I said this in the grocery store, I would be the biggest fucking racist on the planet. Like, instantly.
And people are not. It's just that, you know what I'm saying, like some people don't see that. You know, like, all right, like for instance, like, you know how a white person always says, yo, I have a black friend. I have black friends. You racist. How the fuck is that racist? All right, that's like saying me, for instance, like say if I got gay friends and you biased. Yeah, exactly. Like, I got family that's racist and shit like that. And how the fuck do you know? Like, nobody knows. Like, nobody knows. Everybody's always stuck with one narrative. And they shouldn't be stuck with one narrative.
It'd be nice, though, if we could get to a place in society where, unless it's pertinent to the story, you shouldn't have to mention that your friend is black or white or gay. You should just say, my friend. Now, if it's relevant to the story, then mention it.
No, but when somebody says that, you racist, and then like, how am I racist?
How can I be racist when I have black family members, I have black friends, I'm white, I married a Hispanic.
It doesn't make you racist, but it can offend the easily offended, if you say that.
Then it shouldn't.
But now let me ask you this then, Infamous. How do I defend that I'm not racist when someone accuses me of being racist for no reason?
I don't think you should defend yourself of not being racist. People are going to believe what they want to believe, regardless of what you say.
That's why I said they stuck with one narrative. That's it.
Like, I can sit here and say, I'm not racist. I absolutely love white people and Mexicans, and who's really going to give a fuck? Well, you guys don't care.
Yeah.
If I was, would it matter? You're still in the podcast with me. We're still having this conversation.
Yeah.
And honestly,
but
like,
that's why I love this podcast. Is like we racist. Can all be different, have different opinions, and not just say "fuck you," I hate you for it. Like I love these conversations.
Crimson and see, this is where it's relevant that you're black. Crimson and Sirius, you guys have brought up Black Lives Matter before a couple times, and you're more knowledgeable on them. Guts is saying, or not Guts, I'm sorry, Guts. Kush is saying in the chat, he's interacting a lot tonight. If you go on Black Lives Matter's website to donate, not $1 goes to any black person. The money goes to Act Blue, and Act Blue goes to the Democrats. So you're basically supporting the Democratic Party.
That's not true at all. That's defunct.
Okay, what is...
Democratic Party donated to Black Lives Matter. Yes, that is true, but none of the proceeds actually go to the Democratic Party at all.
Okay.
That was defunct probably like 5-6 months ago. It's just simply not true.
So that was something that was being said, though, that was going around?
Yeah, that was something that got brought up a while ago.
Nah, Yeah, but see, with me, I don't really, I don't really follow, like, you know what I'm saying, like the Black Lives Matter, but I support it, like, you know what I'm saying, like, not like that, but in different ways, like, but I think, like, in all actuality, like, I don't think just, like, you know, it's not just black people that just get police brutality, it's all different races as well. And, like, and the same thing, they just stuck with one narrative. A lot of people just stuck with one narrative, and that's what the media does. They make you stick with one narrative, and that's what a lot of people stuck up on. A lot of people that's like me and the other people that see that stuff. That's why I said you have to look at it from both angles. Like just like how Chris had just said, like I didn't know much about that. He just told me about it, so that's something new to me because I was just.
But
I
it's
thought,
also rare to see people like in this conversation who are willing to change their views based by people giving them more evidence or more facts.
yeah.
You know, Crimson and Sirius give us new information to look at. It's like, holy shit, they're fucking right. We're going to accept they're right. I need to change the way I look at it or my view on this. 99.999 whatever percent of people out there now don't give a fuck what the other side says. Period.
I don't know if it's 99%, but it feels like it's a majority at the very least.
I also try to detract from the words right and wrong because those things are very subjective. What's factual, it's factual. What isn't. You know. No, it's like if I said all police are like assholes and they killed people, that's obviously an opinion. But I can believe that I'm right. You know.
Even if you're really big into religion, let's say you're a big
I gotta
Christian.
step away to finish cooking. If I don't make it back by the end of the podcast, I'm sorry, but family first.
Okay,
I'll be
guys.
back.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. Even if I've brought this up to my parents before and stuff, they're getting more Catholic and more religious as they get older and closer to God. You know, like,
yeah.
even if you believe in the Ten Commandments and in the Bible and what Jesus and God stood for and what they said and everything. I don't feel that if they were real, because I'm not a true believer, you know, I believe that there's potentially something out there. I definitely believe in alien life, because we can't be the only ones in the universe. But I don't know that I really believe in God or believe in religion in that way. But if there was a Jesus, whether he was the Son of God or whatever historic person who was actually alive during that time, that said what he said, I don't think his words are what we see in the Bible today, because it's been written and rewritten over and over again. And the church is run by men, and it's not run by Jesus, not run by God, it's run by men, and men have an agenda. Men have, you know, what they want to do. They have their own ideas and thoughts about what they think should be in the Bible, and they have their, you know, they want power. You know, it's just natural for people to seek power, and I just don't think that they represent what people think they represent.
I've never believed in the collections plate. I understand. That doesn't mean my money.
Yeah. The whole
I
earth.
I don't believe in the Bible.
If you believe in God, the whole earth is the house of God. You don't need to go to church on Sunday and put the collection plate and confess your sins in order to go to heaven. You need to be a good person day to day. Treat other people like you want them to treat you. You can't be an asshole all week. Go confess at the end of the week, put $1 in the collection plate, and all is forgiven. You're going to heaven. That ain't
like
right.
There was a Bible that was written with the famous phrase "Love thy neighbor," but in this edition it says only if thy neighbor of the opposite gender or of the opposite sex.
Really?
Yeah, there is a Bible written where that was added.
There's so many scriptures, there's so many scriptures and so many Bibles that's like different. Like you don't know what's what, so it's very difficult.
I was watching a movie the other night on Netflix called Spotlight. You should watch it. It's really good.
That's on my watch list. Is it good?
Yeah, it is really good. It was on. It was a true story on this newspaper, the Boston Globe, I think it is. This is in Boston, obviously. And they uncovered right after 9/11. They started investigating before 9/11, but they broke the story after 9/11 because they had to put it on hold when the terrorist attacks happened. On the church, the huge Catholic Church scandal with all the sexual abuse, like all the pedophilia and everything, and how the church was covering it up and hiding it, and how they were just moving the priests from church to church, state to state, never really like taking them out of circulation, and they were still going, and then they'd abuse a kid here, so they'd move him over to there, and then he'd abuse a kid over there, they'd move him over somewhere else. It's messed up. Really, really messed up shit. Like, how could you have faith? People are shit. People are ultimately shit. Like, not all people, but there's so many people that are shit. And you just can't be like, oh, because he's a priest, or because he's, because this person's a nun, or man of God, they're above it all, It's just, I don't know.
The pastor has flaws too. No human is created flawless. That would mean being on equal footing with God, and no one is God. At least that's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
What is the Bible, man? I believe in God, but I don't believe in the Bible. And churches will ostracize you for that.
Yeah. I don't know if this is something we could do a whole episode on. You guys might want to stop me and tell me we could. What's up, Day? Sirius said, fuck you, Day.
Yeah, I did.
You said no human is created perfect, right? But we expect perfection out of some. We expect perfection out of politicians, especially like the higher ups, like judges. Judge isn't a politician, but we expect perfection out of them too. Presidents, doctors, anyone that's in the medical profession. If you make a mistake and somebody dies as a result of that mistake, well, now you're probably going to get sued, and you're going to lose your license, and you may even lose your freedom. You may end up going to jail. Police, put under incredible pressure in crazy situations, but we expect them to be perfect and make split-second decisions, and always do the right thing. It's silly. We're all human. We're all born, with monkey brains. Like we may do stupid shit from time to time. We're not perfect.
Did you just call me a monkey, sir? I'm triggered.
I knew that was going to trigger more conversation. As I said. No, Joe Rogan says lizard brain, probably for that very reason, that he doesn't want to trigger anybody. Yeah, he says lizard brain.
It's not bad. Pretty sure the people who identify as reptilians out there might be offended. There's just no fucking get it. There's a artist on YouTube called Frank Lucas. And he basically makes a song that says, what's not offensive in 2019, I think the video was made. And he's making a rap about stuff. And he started talking about cake and ice cream. And the producer was like, nah, you can't say that. He's like, what? I'm literally talking about cake and ice cream. Who the fuck is going to get mad? He said, McDonald's, the ice cream machine is always broke. Then he started rapping about God. He was like, what? Who's upset at this? I'm talking about God. And he said, nah, the atheist is going to have your head.
It's true.
So then he started talking about little people and how we should support them. He was like, nah, you're not supposed to call them little people anymore. It was like everything he said, there was a fucking reason not to say it.
Yeah.
It's a great video. I'll send you the link sometime.
Cool.
It's fun. But it's, no matter what you say, somebody's gonna get triggered.
And that's okay.
I hate the way the world's become.
But that's
So
okay. If
much.
somebody gets mad because I say something and they don't agree with it, and they can get online and disagree with me all they want, but to get me shut down, to get me deplatformed, to get me removed from all the social media, whatever social media platform we're arguing on because I share a different view, and they don't want me spreading the word of the different view, or because I had a guest on my podcast that shared a different view, I gave them a platform to talk about. That's really messed up, and that's something as a society we shouldn't allow to happen. And the whole
Yeah.
protecting people, yes, we have to protect people in the sense of getting the evildoers caught and put away as quickly as possible so they don't do any more evil, but we have to protect people that could potentially be innocent from, you know, being punished for something they didn't do as well. So that's the end of what I gotta say about everything pretty much tonight. I think I'm good. If you guys have anything more to say, go ahead. If not, we'll probably wrap it up.
Not good. You want to end it? I guess it's a good enough time, right?
Serious? You have anything more to add?
Nope.
No?
No.
Alright. I'm gonna finish out this strike here, and you guys want to go ahead and plug I know, Crimson, you want to plug your socials, go ahead. Tell people where they can find you.
Hi, my name is Crimson-Waters. You can find me on Twitch at Crimson_Waters, and on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Dodetsu. That's DODETSUK. Stream games, I do podcasts, I talk about a wide variety of subjects, and I like to have a good old time. I also do cooking videos.
Oh man.
You got to give
Nice.
me your recipe for your pineapple thing, Serious. Go ahead, talk about it real quick. I know you want to.
Nah, I'm just I'm working on a couple of things right now. I'm working on a cooking channel as well. Working on some clothing line. I'm working on a few little adventures right now. So I just haven't had the chance to, and I might be doing some other stuff that a lot of people probably won't know about. But I'll be working on I'm trying to work on a little website and work on this little YouTube channel as well with the with my gaming channel. So it's a lot of things to work on, but yeah, I got these pineapples, delicious.
Yeah, what else inside those pineapples you made? Without
If
giving
I
the
had to tell
recipe
you, I had
away.
to kill you.
Without giving the recipe away. Like, what is it? Meat? Is it fish? Is it both? Is it what's in there?
It's rice, chicken, and shrimp,
Nice.
and my little secret sauce. And if I had to tell you that, I had to kill you.
Understandable.
That actually sounds really good. I have a similar recipe. It sounds like we should share it. Listen, I love food, bro.
Yeah.
It came to me.
Yeah.
Did I get the first one?
I guess not. I guess we ran right past it. For anybody that's watching, curious what next week's episode is going to be, right now, preliminary plans are it's going to be on the Division 1 and 2, and, you know, DLCs and everything, the current state of the game. We're going to have a few different perspectives. Guts has never played. I almost platinumed Part 1, but I left before any of the DLCs came out. So I've got it from that perspective. Sirius, you dabbled in both, right? And Crimson,
Yeah.
you're still playing Part 2, or?
I'm still playing Part 1 and 2.
Part 1 and 2, okay.
Yeah, I have them both
So we've got
downloaded
a-
onto the system. They never leave.
So we've got a variety of different viewpoints on it, and we're going to try to get, actually, some more people on, some guests. We always try to get some guests for you, make it more interesting, but sometimes they're tough to come by. And
I may be able to add somebody as a guest who is super, super knowledgeable about the game if you do the Division.
cool, absolutely.
Sorry, I am going to cut you off there.
No, that's fine. If we don't end up doing that next week, it'll be because there's a new DLC on GTA Online that we want to cover. Even if one comes out, we may choose not to cover it. We'll have to see what it's like. Or because we want to cover the Destiny 2 Solstice event that's coming out on Tuesday. We may choose to do that. But one of those three things should be the next episode. Thursday nights, every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you don't catch us live, you can catch us usually a couple hours later, if not the next day. It'll go on my YouTube channel as a video. Thanks for watching. I hope everybody enjoyed. Thanks for the good conversation, guys.